Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bryan Duran. I shall be the one reading Tuck Everlasting to you guys today. We'll be on chapter 13 all the way to chapter 18. So stick around and I hope you enjoy it.
Forever Thursdays are back with two phenomenal guest hosts. Gloria Darko and Bryan Duran join Kiyaya and I this week on Let's Get Cozy, because it's story time with Kiyaya and Daniel. Gloria is a graduate of Susquehanna University class of 2015. She's currently an admissions counselor. She remembers reading Tuck Everlasting in my classroom and discussing it with me and her peers. She loves nonfiction books, biographies, autobiographies, memoirs. Yeah, I can take some credit for that. She encourages you to read books that you're interested in, but also to be sure to read books that you're not interested in, because there are things that you can learn about that you didn't know about before, and that could build your understanding of people and the world around us. She's joined this week by Bryan Duran, another former student who's currently enrolled at Buffalo State College in New York. He's a building manager at the Student Union, and he's also the manager of a Dominican restaurant called La Casa de Sabores. Being surrounded by others during simpler times is something that Bryan is remembering fondly during these days, and he loves reading anything focusing on the topic of psychology or things that are written by Junot Diaz. He encourages you to take your time and to enjoy the world. And each time you read a book, you're open to a new aspect of the world around you. Even when times feel hard, it's okay to escape in the pages of a book, because knowledge will always be power. Bryan is very proud of the fact that he is the first generation Dominican in his family to attend college. We couldn't be prouder of him also. Sit back, relax, get cozy as we get lost further in the journey of Winnie Foster and the Tucks in the Tree Gap Woods. Forever Thursdays and Fridays continue now. Sit back, relax, let's get cozy, because it's story time with Kiyaya and Daniel. Are you a singer, an actor, an artist, a crocheter, a knitter, a cross-stitcher, a potter? Are you a crafter? Coming soon to Rude Rangers TV is Crafty Conversations with... That's right, my outspoken friend Kiyaya and I are going to be launching our new show on Rude Rangers TV this spring. Email us at craftyconversations@STITCHINGwolfdesigns.com if you're interested in sharing your story with us. Follow us on our social media accounts. Or check our website out, www.stitchingwolfdesigns.com, or give us a call, 516-274-0350. The possibilities are endless. Stories are such an important part of our lives. Join my friend Kiyaya and I for Get Cozy, because it's story time with Kiyaya and Daniel, where we share some of the greatest picture books and chapters from children's and young adult literature to inspire you to keep embedding literacy into your days. I'm Daniel, and Kiyaya and I are here to share this all with you.
Chapter 13. Sometime later, the man in the yellow suit slipped down from the saddle and tied the Tuck's old horse to a bar of the Foster's fence. He tried the gate. It was unlocked. He pushed through and strode up the path to the door of the cottage. Though it was very late now, almost midnight, the windows glowed golden. The family had not gone to bed. The man in the yellow suit took off his hat and smoothed his hair with long white fingers. Then he knocked at the door. It was opened at once by Winnie's grandmother, and before she could speak, the man said quickly, "Ah, good evening. May I come in? I have happy news for you. I know where they've taken the little girl."
Dad meant nothing for the Tucks to do but go to bed. It was too dark now to go out looking for the horse thief, and anyway, they had no idea when he had done his thieving or which way he had gone. "That beats all, though, don't it, Pa?" said Jess. "Coming up to a person's house and stealing their horse right out from under their nose?" "I gotta give you that, Tuck," said Tuck, "but the question is, was it just some ordinary thief or was it someone that had some special reason? I don't like it. I got a bad feeling about the whole thing." "Hush now, Tuck," said May. She was spreading a quilt on the old sofa, making it into a bed for Winnie. "You're too much of a worrier. There's nothing we can do about it now, so there's no sense fussing. You got no reason to think there's anything peculiar about it anyway. Come on, we'll get a good night's sleep and figure it out in the morning when we're fresh. Boys, up you go, and don't get talking. You'll keep us awake. Winnie, child, you bed down too. You'll sleep first rate on the sofa here." But Winnie did not sleep at all. Not for a long, long time. The cushions of the sofa were remarkably lumpy and smelled like old newspapers. And the chair pad May had given her for a pillow was thin and hard and rough under her cheek. But far worse than this was the fact that she was still in her clothes, for she had firmly refused the offer of May's spare nightgown, with the seemingly mouse of faded cotton flannel. Only her own nightgown would do, and the regular bedtime routine, without them, she was painfully lonely for home. Her joy in the road that morning had completely disappeared. The wide world shrank and her oldest fears rolled freely in her consciousness. It was unbelievable that she should be in this place. It was an outrage, but she was helpless to do anything about it, helpless to control it, and exhausted by the conversation in the rowboat. Was it true? Could they really never die, these Tucks? It had evidently not occurred to them that she might not believe it. They were only concerned that she kept the secret. Well, she did not believe it. It was nonsense, wasn't it? Well, wasn't it? Winnie's head whirled. Remembering the man in the yellow suit was the only thing that kept her from weeping. He's told them by now, she thought, rehearsing it. They've been looking for me for hours, but they don't know where to look. No, the man saw which way we were headed. Papa will find me. They're out looking for me right now. She went over and over it again, lying wrapped in the quilt while outside the moon rose, turning the pond to silver. There was a hint of mist, now that the air was cooler, and the frogs talked comfortably. Crickets soon joined in with their shrill rhythmic song. In the table jar, the mouse ruffled softly, enjoying the supper of flapjack crumbs May had put there for him. And at last, these things were clearer in Winnie's ears than the voice of her thoughts. She began to relax, listening to the sound-filled silence. Then, just as she was drifting into sleep, she heard soft footsteps, and May was beside her. "You resting easy, child?" she whispered. "I'm all right, thank you," said Winnie. "I'm sorry about everything," said May. "I just didn't know no other way but to bring you back with us. I know it ain't very happy for you here, but, well, anyway, you have a good talk with Tuck." "I guess so," said Winnie. "That's good. Well, I'm going back to bed. Get a good sleep." "All right," said Winnie. But still, May lingered. "We've been alone so long," she said at last. "I guess we don't know how to do with the visitors. But still, all in all, it's a good feeling you being here with us. I wish you was ours." She put on an awkward hand, then and touched Winnie's hair. "Well," she said. "Good night." "Good night," said Winnie. Tuck came too, a little later, to peer down at her anxiously. He was wearing a long white nightshirt and his hair was rumpled. "Oh," he said. "You still awake? Everything all right?" "Yes," said Winnie. "I didn't mean to go disturbing you," he said, "but I've been laying in there thinking I ought to be setting up out here with you till you want to sleep." "You don't have to do that," said Winnie, surprised and touched. "I'm all right." He looked uncertain. "Well, But if you want something, will you holler? I'm just in the next room. I'd be out here like a shot. And then he added gruffly, it's been quite a time since we had a natural, growing child in this house. His voice trailed off. Well, try to get some sleep. That sofa there? I guess it ain't the kind of thing you're used to. It's fine, said Winnie. The bed's no better, or I'd switch with you, he said. He didn't seem to know how to finish the conversation, but then he bent and kissed her quickly on the cheek and was gone. Winnie lay with her eyes wide. She felt cared for and confused, and all at once she wondered what would happen to the Tucks when her father came. What would he do to them? She would never be able to explain how they had been with her, how they made her feel. She remembered guiltily that at supper she had decided they were criminals. Well, but they were. And yet. And then a final visitor made her confusion complete. There was a creaking on the loft stairs, and Jess was looking down at her, very beautiful and eager in the faint blue moonlight. Hey, Winnie Foster, he whispered. You sleep? This time she sat up, pulling her quilt around her in the sudden embarrassment, and answered, No, not yet. Well then listen. He knelt beside her, his curls tumbled and his eyes wide. I've been thinking it over. Pa's right about you having to keep the secret. It's not hard to see why, but the thing is, you knowing about the water already and living right next to it so you could go there anytime, well listen. How'd it be if you was to wait till you're 17, same age as me, heck, that's only 6 years off, and then you could go and drink some, and then you could go away with me. We could get married even. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? We could have a grand old time, go all around the world, see everything. Listen, Ma and Pa and Miles, they don't know how to enjoy it. What we got. Why? Heck, Winnie. Life's to enjoy yourself, isn't it? What else is it good for? That's what I say. And you and me, we could have a good time that never stopped. Wouldn't that be something? Once more, Winnie adored him. Kneeling there beside her in the moonlight, he wasn't crazy. How could he be? He was just amazing. But she was struck dumb. All she could do was stare at him. You think on it, Winnie Foster, Jess whispered earnestly. Think on it some and see if it don't sound good. Anyway, I'll see you in the morning, all right? All right, she managed to whisper in return. He slipped away then, back up the creaking steps. But when he sat upright, wide awake, her cheeks burning, she could not deal with this remarkable suggestion. She could not think on it, for she didn't know what to believe about anything. She lay down again, finally, and stared into the moonlight for another half an hour before she fell asleep.
Chapter 15. In Tree Gap, the same moonlight silvered the roof of the Touch-Me-Not cottage, but inside, the lamps were burning. That's right, said the man in the yellow suit. I know where she is. He sat back in his chair in the Foster's spotless parlor, crossing his long, thin legs, and the suspended foot began a rhythmic jiggling. He hung his hat on his knee and smiled, his eyes nearly closed. I followed them, you see. She's with them now. As soon as I saw they'd arrived at their destination, I turned around and came directly back. I thought you'd be staying up. You've been looking for her all day, of course. It must be quite a worry. He lifted a hand then, ignoring their exclamations, and began to smooth the thin hairs of his beard. You know, he said thoughtfully, I've come a long way looking for a wood exactly like the one you've got next door here. It would mean a great deal to me to own it, and how pleasant to have neighbors like yourselves. Now, understand, I wouldn't cut down many of the trees. I'm no barbarian. You can see that. No, just a few. You wouldn't find it different at all, really. He gestured with his long white fingers and smiled, his face crinkling pleasantly. We'd be good friends, I think. Why, the little girl and I. We're friends already. It would be a great relief to see her safely home again, wouldn't it? He clicked his tongue and frowned. Dreadful thing, kidnapping. Isn't it fortunate that I was a witness? Why, without me, You might never have heard a word. They're rough country people, the ones that took her. There's just no telling what illiterates like that might do. Yes, he sighed, lifting his eyebrows and smiling again. It looks as if I'm the only person in the whole world who knows where to find her. And then the man in the yellow suit sat forward. His long face took on a hard expression. Now, I don't have to spell things out for people like yourselves. Some types one comes across can't seem to cut their way through any problem, and that does make things difficult. But you, I don't have to explain the situation to you. I've got what you want, and you've got what I want. Of course, you might find that child without me, but you might not find her in time. So, I want the wood, and you want the child. It's a trade, a simple, clear-cut trade. He looked around at the three shocked faces, and as if he were seeing nothing there but calm agreement, he smiled delightedly and rubbed his hands together. Done and done, he said. I knew right away. I said to myself, now here is a group of intelligent, reasonable people. I'm seldom wrong as a judge of character, very seldom disappointed. So, all that remains is to write it up on paper, giving me the wood, and to sign it. It's best, don't you agree, to keep things legal and tidy. The rest is easy. Nothing to it. You go for your local constable, and he and I ride out and bring back the child and the criminals. No, oh no, Mr. Foster. I understand your concern, but you mustn't come along. We'll do this business my way. There now, your terrible ordeal is as good as over, isn't it? I'm so thankful I was here to help you out.
Thank you, Gloria and Bryan. Phenomenal reading, and we can't wait till tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow again. Bryan and Gloria will be back for the next several chapters of Natalie Babbitt's Tuck Everlasting. Forever Thursdays and Fridays continue. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, reading is power.